Everyone, this is Academic First Aid. I'm Dr. Deborah Baslao Farias, Dr. D, Deb, whatever is easiest works for me. And this video is to talk about these four positions, um, labels, anyway, that you might have in university, and that a lot of people who are new to university or Australian universities might find a little bit confusing, and what is the difference between them. Now let's start here with the course convener. And the course convener, you can think of it as like a project manager pretty much. This is the person who is the person responsible for the course. So they're the ones who are, for instance, writing the syllabus, writing the course outline, determining the assessments, the rubrics, setting the learning outcomes. They're the ones who coordinate, lecturer, tutor, head tutor. They're the ones who are like the boss of the course, if you will. Sometimes, if you have courses that are very big, or sometimes even in the like over 1,000 students, you might actually have people who co-convene. Not going to be so common, but sometimes in first years you will see that. And sometimes if there are co-conveners, there will probably be an indication somewhere on Moodle, or they will tell you who to email if you need something with the course convener. But most of you throughout university will probably only have one course convener for a particular course. Now, the lecturer is the person who's actually giving the lecture, is the person who is standing there in front of students and talking about, okay, week one, this is what we're going to talk. And then they talk for, how long it is. But they're the ones who, let's say, are responsible for explaining the material. They're the ones who are, going to have this contact with this big group. Most of the time, you will find in most courses that the course convener and the lecturer are the one and same person. Sometimes you will have courses that have more than one lecturer. This usually happens if you have a also very big course. You might actually have cases where you have like two people who are lecturing. So sometimes one person lectures from week 1 to 5, and then the other one from another, or there's a variation. So there can be more than two lecturers in a single course. Most of you will find that the course convener and the lecturer are the same, but this is just to understand from also an administrative perspective, the different roles that a course convener has and the lecturer has. So you can think of the course convener in many ways as the back end of the system, right? And the lecturer is the face fronting person who is there actually delivering the lectures. Usually they're the same person, but sometimes you might find the split. Now, in Australia, and I know that in many places in the world, like in North America, you also have this. Anyway, in some places in the world, you do have a structure where the teaching system is set where there's a moment where there is a lecture, where there is this, one person is there and is talking about the content. And then at another moment, you will have a tutorial. And the tutorial is led by tutors. So tutorials are these small groups. So imagine that a lecture can be, you might have a lecture where you have 300 students, 500 students. The tutorials, they are small. They're usually, at least in my field, I teach in the social sciences, they are around, and at UNSW, they're around 25 people at most. But this could be, different cases like seminars, workshops, labs. But basically, tutors are the ones who are helping you understand the lecture. So the tutorial is the place where the tutors are the ones helping you, let's say, discuss the readings or practicing skills or working through problems or preparing for assignments. So this is the person that you're probably going to have a lot of contact, that are the ones who are probably going to know your name by heart by the end of the term. Sometimes the person who is the convener, the lecturer, might also be your tutor. For instance, for me this term, I'm recording this just before the first term starts in 2026. I lead one of the tutorials for at least each one of the courses that I'm convening. Sometimes you'll have people who convene different courses that might have that might also be your tutor. So the tutor can vary from someone who is also a course convener in other courses and is a tutor in that course, but it can also be, and most commonly is PhD students or people who have recently finished their PhD. And the head tutor in courses that are very long, very big, you will have typically a head tutor. So for example, I'm teaching a course now that is first year, first term, and I'm probably going to have 7 tutors. So what the head tutor does is they do a lot of uh, it's a position where one of the tutor is designated the head tutor, and that means that a lot of administrative stuff is done by the head tutor. So the head tutor is supporting, is giving help for your convener with a lot of, let's say, student emails, or when students have specific questions. There are things, for instance, in the Australian system that tutors can't do. And so sometimes what the head tutor does is that they are paid to have certain responsibilities that the other normal tutors don't have. So that's why if your course convener is saying, look, when email me, make sure to CC, carbon copy, add the head tutor to your email, then you know exactly what that is. And again, a reminder, if you're starting uni in Australia, it's normal to have questions. It's normal to not know stuff. And so if that's your case, which I know it will be, but if you do want, hey, I'd really like to know about this because I'm not sure how this works, email me, academicfirstaidhelp@gmail.com. And then, yeah, I'll try to help you. Cheers.